Running shoes are killing it right now. Running is killing it right now. There's so much hype around the latest shoe model, latest gear, different kinds of nutrition. You might have noticed recently that some really big players in the running shoe influencer media game are building growing partnerships with running shoe companies, running brands. And I just wanted to do a check-in and have a little think about the landscape of what it's like to be a consumer as a runner today. And more so touch on this talking point that I've seen start to originate online, which is that running shoe YouTubers are sort of becoming corporate shills to big shoe. And I want to have a chat about that because I think it's really interesting and I think there's a lot of things to discuss. So you might have seen the comments. I've definitely seen comments, and maybe it's on Running Shoe Geeks Reddit, or maybe it's on the comment sections of your favorite running shoe YouTuber. They are running shoe YouTubers are just shills to big corporations now. The whole game is just this rigged marketing capitalist machine that is generating more and more money. And you know what? There is sentiments there that I agree with. I think that it's easy to sort of be overwhelmed by this when every video on your feed is another review of a £250 shoe that someone has had sent to them that would set you back a massive amount of money. And running shoe YouTubers, they are sent all shoes, or most shoes. But me and you can't afford to buy all shoes or most shoes. That's just not a practicality. Because I don't think any running shoe YouTubers are suggesting that you go and buy all of the shoes. But by seeing someone who gets the chance to run in all of these and enjoy them all differently, it creates a strange paradox, and I think that's where the dissociation starts to begin. It's true that running brands know how to game the system. They are multi-billion-dollar corporations who understand how to get people's attentions, whether that's interesting ads, marketing campaigns, rollouts, whether that's false scarcity in shoes. I mean, I'm looking at you, Evo SL, as the biggest example. Why can't everyone just have that shoe, man? Why can't everyone just have that shoe? It's actually fairly affordable for what you're getting. But why not just let everyone have it? Instead, you've got to gatekeep it behind release window and create this false hype. I'm a believer that running is for everyone, and everyone should be able to get the same level playing field. And I do fear a future in which, much like the sneaker game sort of turned 5 years ago, running shoes become sort of gatekept behind auto buy bots who will buy every single copy of a shoe on a release or a drop day, and then resellers will sell the shoes for extortionate prices, gatekeeping the best running shoe technology behind higher prices and automatic buys. And that's scary. I don't like that because, as I said, I think running should be for everyone. And you'll also see brands put on huge flashy events for running shoe YouTubers. You know, they'll get to go to pasta making classes or pottery things, or they'll test shoes in labs and be flown out to exotic countries, and it's exciting. And you know what? I want to go to that too. And I think you'd love to go as well, right? I'd like to go to the Adidas headquarters and see the process of how they make the best running shoes. It's just a hobby of mine. It's just an interest. And that is why I'd like to offer my personal opinion on the matter. And I think that it is a complex matter which does not have a black and white opinion base. I think that actually the truth lies in the grey. And here, there are a lot of shades of grey, because once you start talking about these things, you open up massive conversations about capitalism, about fairness, about fairness, about who is running for, breaking off access to runners. And I think they're big topics that deserve their own videos, and it's really important to talk about those things. But particularly when we're talking about running shoe YouTubers, running shoe influencers, I'd like to offer this opinion. They are just runners. Listen, Kendrick Lamar did the Super Bowl the other day, and he said that they're not like us. I think that running shoe YouTubers are just like us. They're just runners with a hobby, and they've decided to take their hobby to everyone and be able to broadcast it and share it. And I think that that's quite a joyful process. Running shoe YouTubers are just your average person. They come from all kinds of backgrounds, cities, cultures, communities, and that is why I think that running YouTube content is a brilliant thing. It's sharing the love of running. I talked about why running felt like it was everywhere about 6 months ago in a video that did quite well, and I think that it's true. Running is getting bigger right now. I'm Gen Z, and I feel as though there's loads of Gen Z runners right now. A lot of my friends are asking me about running, starting to pick up running for the first time, starting to get interested in running YouTubers. I had a friend who I've never talked about running before just come over to me, and I could see his phone screen, and he was watching a Kofuzi video, and I was like, oh, whoa. And we got chatting about it, and I think that's the level right now. I think that's how things are working. I think that is true, that there is a massive boom going on, and part of that is thanks to running YouTubers. You know, it's revolutionized the sport and the way we approach it. 15 years ago, people were running in flats, man. People were running marathons in crazy little shoes, like less thick than my finger.
Wait.
I'm saying that's obviously fair enough. I could not do that, but the sport has completely changed. They are runners first and content creators second, I would hope, and that's okay. You know, I think these people are just sharing a passion, and they get the platform to try out all of these shoes. And having a shoe sent to you does not mean that you are being paid to review it. There's a total difference there, and you'll find plenty of bad reviews, you know, even by bigger organizations that do running shoe reviews. You will find times where they're not keen on shoes, and I think they are allowed to be open, and as long as we keep that alive, then we keep the most important thing alive, and that is the idea that we, the consumer, hold the power in this ever growing economic boom of running. I think we need to remember, in a situation like this, where the economics of running are booming and more people are starting to run, more and more people are enjoying the sport, and more people are broadcasting things about the sport that can be sold, shipped, traded, etc. I think it's important to remember that we, the consumers, the runners, the general population of normal people, when it comes to regarding shoe content, running content, media online, and how we approach brands, hold the power. We, as the community of runners, everyone who runs, everyone who's ever ran, even if it was just to catch a train, if you are interested in running, we hold the power. And that is the most amazing thing, I think, and that's always been the amazing thing about running, and that's been the community element, and I think that doesn't stop here. I think that the running community online is one of the most positive online communities that there is, genuinely. Obviously, these kind of discourses will come up, but I do think that as a whole, the culture that's been created between running shoe channels and between community members, content creators, and individuals who just watch and enjoy the content, I think it's brilliant. It's a really positive, optimistic discourse about being healthy, being happy, chasing goals, setting goals, being productive, living a positive lifestyle. And so as these elements of marketing and salesmanship and everything, where there's a ripe community, there's money to be made. And that is what the big corporations will tell you, is where there's a ripe community that's growing, there is money to be made. And that's exactly the opportunity we've seen here. So online, when we're regarding running shoe content, views drive engagement, and brands want those views on their videos with their running shoes. And so I think we need to hold brands accountable, but not the running shoe YouTubers. They're just like us. They're enjoying the shoes that they get to run in and that they receive. They're normal people working hard, 1 mile at a time, and that's totally okay. I'm all for it. And I think we should have more running shoe YouTubers. I mean, what am I doing right now? I'm talking about running. I'm talking about running shoes. I'm talking about YouTube videos because it interests me. I genuinely feel passionate. There's no ulterior motive other than I just like to talk about it and see what other people think. And I think that's really, really important because we have a community in which we're able to do that, right? As we remember that the power lands in us, the consumers, I think let's be more conscious. Let's not be angry ever if you feel this at running shoe YouTubers. I don't feel as though it's ever a running shoe YouTuber's fault, right? I think that we need to hold the brands accountable as they raise the prices of running shoes, as they raise barriers to entry to running, I think that's the kind of thing that we need to be conscious of going forward in the next 5 or 10 years, and how the landscape changes. I think we need to be able to look at the most overpriced shoes, more incessant turnover of new models, or a sense of elitism that comes into running, whether that's gatekeeping certain models of shoes for paces or people, or people with different abilities. There should be no barrier to entry for running. You should be able to run no matter what. Absolutely no matter what. You should be able to get a pair of running shoes and run. And the higher that barrier to entry becomes as the prices of the good running shoes increase, then things will become more complicated. And that's where, as a community and as a people and as a consumer, we hold our power. You know, don't buy those shoes. Speak to content creators about the activities of brands. If there's a brand that you don't like, that you feel acts in a way that might contradict some of your beliefs, maybe write to a YouTuber you're interested in and let them know about it, but do not pin it on them. They are just you. And I am you, and you are me. We are all interested in running. And so, want honest reviews? Let's be honest about our opinions of running shoes going forward. Let's hold the big brands accountable, and then let's share the joy of the great running shoes and the new technology and the great races and the great content that we can all enjoy together, as we benefit as individuals and a community of people who want to do better in life and want to have positive experiences. Because I think that is all that any person who makes content is someone who just wants to share something, make a community, make friends, and yeah, I think that's most of what I've got to say. I just wanted this to feel like really off the cuff, just maybe a talking point. I want to hear your opinion, because that's okay too. If you have a different opinion, let's keep an open discourse, because I think we've got a positive enough platform and community online as running content creators to be able to talk about these kind of things. So do you feel as though running shoe YouTubers are sort of becoming marketing shills? If you do hold that opinion, I'd like to know why, and where does that opinion originate, you know? I think these are really interesting, cool discussions to have, and I'd love to chat to you about it. I'm on my day off today, no run, my calf's a little bit sore, so I'm going to be careful, and I just thought, you know what, I'll have a little mini crash out on this video and have a chat with you guys. I've really enjoyed that. I'll have a video for you next week, and the week after that, 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 and I will see you soon. Thanks so much for listening. Bye 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 bye.